it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show! You donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. What is the phrase I've been using on this airwaves for 10 years now or 9 years? Never a dull moment in Notre Dame land. We got Notre Dame scheduling news and repercussions that I think are coming with it. There's the news. How do I want to put this? There's the news and there's the implications of the news. And to me, the news is a pretty big deal. The implication of it is a bigger deal to me and where I think this is all going. So we got never a dull moment in Notre Dame land. Right when you think there ain't nothing going on, we're going to be sitting here all summer with nothing to talk about and no headlines. Boom! Big Notre Dame news. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I think it's going to represent and kind of where we go from here. So I really appreciate everybody starting your morning here. That's brave. I got to tell you, I was thinking about it last night, man. Anybody that's willingly like, you know what I'm going to do to start my day? It just put me in the mood to go attack the day and modern society. I'm going to watch John yell about everything first thing. I love you guys. I love you guys, man. It's great. Happy to see the crowd. Happy to have everybody here. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. If you're here every day, I hope you just hit subscribe. It tells YouTube, hey, some people like this guy. Put him in front of people. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni boy as well. Notifications on it way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see my face. Nobody blames you for that. I'm glad I cracked myself up at least. It's just, you know how much the introduction allows me all the funny noises and all the dumb rhymes. Okay, so back off. The call-in lines, 312-988-15. Johnny, all you've heard and seen, including, I think, USC going bye-bye. Going bye-bye. And not the way I want it. You know the way I want USC to go bye-bye. The whole state of California. Oh, major earthquake. Now we got 2 Hawaiis. There's another island out there. And the ground shakes and the whole thing floats in the middle of the ocean. Fine by me, that stupid state. Good morning. Hope everybody's in a good mood. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. He the former captain. He's the leading tackler. He's the one mixing it up with the legacy media. I saw you guys talking about that. And can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? Everybody has their little piece of the pie here, and everybody's trying to do a good job. Can't we all just get along? The answer's no. The answer's clearly no. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I don't know, man. All right, we got a couple callers. Let's go over the breaking news real quick. A couple thoughts on it. And then we'll go to the call. So as you all know, the news has come out, and then I'll go back to the chats too. The news has come out. Notre Dame and Clemson and the ACC have agreed to have Notre Dame and Clemson play every day through 2038. I believe that is a 12-year deal. It's very interesting. Let's examine why this is happening and what I think it means and represents. Let's do that. Then we'll go to the calls. I promise it ain't going to be 20 minutes. Well, I don't, but I'm going to try and not make it be 20 minutes. So why is this happening? That's a good place to start. Why is this happening? Number one, I think money, correct me if I'm wrong. The way I interpret the new or adjusted ACC contract with TV and all this, I believe they're doing a revenue model where if you draw more TV eyeballs, you get a bigger piece of that financial pie. Notre Dame draws. Notre Dame and Clemson definitely draws. So when you're asking about like why you would want to do this, Dodger, you're not allowed to say that. You're about to dip out of this beautiful. You guys are about to dip out of this beautiful rivalry that challenges different ways of life and totally different value systems we've all been loving and living for 100 freaking years. Oh, when we got the Big Ten schedule and sometimes we got to get in a plane and fly east. You should have done that before you wanted to do this. And if it was that big of a deal, you shouldn't have done it if you couldn't handle your little flights. I don't get it. It's like, oh my gosh, we didn't understand that jet lag is real. And even if you're in a fancy jet, when you're flying from LA to New York, it's tiring. Oh man, what do you mean? They act like that's a surprise they learned. Rubs me the wrong way. So I think money's a part of this. The teams that draw more TV money are going to get a bigger piece of the pie. Clemson ain't stupid, so they want a piece of that. This also helps the ACC overall just by having this game on the schedule every year. It's a win for the ACC. It's a win for Notre Dame scheduling. As far as modern, like rivalries back and forth with Notre Dame that are more modern, Clemson's right up there. You've had a good little, some challenging games with Ohio State, and you can't win any of them. You can't win any of them, by the way, since 1938. You can't win any of them against that team. But as far as modern building rivalries for Notre Dame, Clemson's about as good as it gets. And also a rivalry that's been played in the last handful of years on the higher end of the college football level. And with both teams winning some games, really interesting dynamic. I like that. I'm not. So it's a win for the ACC. It's a win for Clemson financially. It's a win for Notre Dame to have Clemson on the schedule every year. It's going to be one of the games you circle. That's cool. For Notre Dame, you know you're going to get to play a strong brand name that you have a good back and forth with. Build up that nice little rivalry on top of what you've already done with Clemson. That's all cool. That's fine. That's just fine with me. So that's the why. Now let's talk about what it means. This is where it gets really interesting. And then we'll take a couple calls, I promise. Number one, when this news dropped, everybody that is in my circle, the very first thought they had is, this is Notre Dame and Bavacqua trying to find a solution to USC being bye-bye on that schedule every year. And they got to find a brand name somewhere to have a thing where it's every year you can kind of lean on or whatever. That was my first thought. And I didn't know whether I was overdoing it or whether it's just me overthinking it. But then I started hearing from everybody else and they're thinking the same thing. I thought maybe I was just overdoing it a little bit. And so it feels like this is a big brand name helmet to be able to fall back on yearly if / and or when, I think it's more of when USC stopped scheduling Notre Dame every year because the Big Ten's too hard and we got to fly around and we got to play more teams with a pulse than just like one out west. That's what it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it feels like Babak was trying to get ahead of this should it happen. That's how it comes off to me. So I think Bavakwa thinks / and or knows this move's coming from the SC side. Now, it would be, and I understand the argument about the Big Ten scheduling and all that. I get it. But I'm still going to give people a hard time that are complaining about having to fly all over the country to play football games. Notre Dame's been doing it for 100 years and nobody gave a crap. No one gave a crap. And whenever I said, man, it's tough, Notre Dame's flying 3,000 miles this year, zigging and zagging all over the country or whatever, I was told, oh, it's not that big a deal. You're on a luxury plane. Get over it. Suddenly, USC's doing it, and it's this huge revelation that flying all over is a big deal on you over the course of a season. It's amazing. I said it, and it's an excuse. They say it, and it's perfectly genuflect. Wow, what a realization. Wow. Got to consider that. It pissed me off. So I think Babakwa either knows or thinks that USC is going to be dipping out of this rivalry soon. It would be an absolute shame. But as long as I know they're the ones dipping, I'll be able to live with it. I hate it. I want us to play every year. I need the clash of those value systems between LA and Hollywood and Notre Dame. I need that clash every year for my soul. It's good for my soul. I need that battle. It ain't a battle on the football field. It's a battle for values in life. And I need it. And I think it's going away. So I'm going to hate that. But as long as they're the ones making it known, they're dipping, I guess I could live with that. If this thing's not going to be every year with USC anymore, as long as they're the ones making that decision, I'll be able to live with it a little bit. So whatever. I don't know. SPF. This is good. I saw this. Callers, I'm coming to you. Oh, Johnny boy, serious take. Do you think ND ever recruiting on yours means anything? Maybe Freeman not ready to lean on the young bucks. I do think, they were talking about Milroe too. The Milroe thing was real too. And then yours, I don't blame them for investigating what's out there. And then there's probably a line, SPF. If it's these one or two guys that we're really sold on, we'll do that. And if it isn't, we'd rather go with what we have than anybody else in the portal that we don't like as much. So I don't blame them for investigating it. But if they really were unsure, they probably would have got somebody else in the portal. So I don't know. But I know the Milroe thing was real. I know that more about that than the Ewers thing. They really did look into it. So I don't know, man. I don't blame them for looking into it, but then there's probably a line where if it wasn't their one or two guy, then they're saying, I'd rather stick with what we have than go to another guy in the portal, if that makes sense. If it makes sense. But ultimately them doubling down on Young tells me they are like somewhat comfortable with it, or they would have got somebody else out of the portal, I think. But I think they had to do their diligence and talk to these guys or whatever. I don't know. Too late now. So as long as USC are the ones dipping, I guess I could live with it. I'm still going to hate it, but it's like, as long as they're doing it, I'll be able to live with it. Let's put it that way. I'm going to hate it, but I'll be able to. I could not handle it if we were the ones that initiated the divorce. I would not react well to that at all. So if it's on their end, it's on their end. Next, I'd love to see the paperwork on this deal. Is there a buyout clause for Notre Dame? What happens if everything changes, the landscape shifts, we have an AFC, NFC situation, or like something major changes where Notre Dame's feels like they got to join the Big Ten? Do you keep that game on the schedule, or can you drop it and then go to the Big Ten? Like, I'm wondering on a 12-year deal, I'm wondering what that language looks like as quickly as things are changing in the landscape of the sport. I wonder if there's an out here. Should Notre Dame's entire situation change, a buyout clause? Or if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, they play these guys anyway instead of Stanford or Navy or something. So whatever, man. I don't know. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation. And here's the final thing, and we'll take some calls. The recent Clemson rivalry has been back and forth, exciting, high-level battles. It's just never going to be Notre Dame USC. That's all. It's just never going to be Notre Dame USC. Clemson and Notre Dame could be great. It's never going to be Notre Dame USC. It can't be. Tangibly, by definition, it can never touch that because it's not going to have the history. It's not going to have the history. It's not going to have the reason Notre Dame was compelled to take a train all the way across country to LA to be able to fill out a schedule. Like people are like, oh, well, you just build a new rivalry with Clemson. Yeah, but it's never going to be the same. And the history is a big deal at Notre Dame. And the history of that, it's just never going to be the same. I'm not saying that it's bad and I don't like the Clemson. I do, but it's just never going to be USC Notre Dame. Clemson is, maybe you look at it different, and then we go to the calls. I promise. Clemson isn't Notre Dame. Okay? All right. Or rather, Clemson isn't USC. It isn't Miami. It's not Florida State. It's not Michigan. It's not Ohio State. It just doesn't draw the same emotion. It's almost a compliment to both sides that I don't really hate Clemson. I hate all those other teams and everything they're all about. USC, Miami, Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State. Ain't nobody got time for that on any of them. I don't have any vitriol to, I mean, Dabo's a goofy guy. I have nothing against him, though. Like, I have nothing against Clemson program. But it's never going to, I'll push back on anybody that's like, well, you just start a new rivalry like the old one, but it's with Clemson. You physically can't do it. Physically, you can't build that. That's the whole thing here is why we had to go out there by train and fill out a schedule. Like, come on. It's never going to be that. It's never going to be that. So I don't know, man. It's really interesting. It gives you, you're going to be circling a big game per year now, whatever. That's fine. But you better believe the second I get that announcement on Twitter, the USC's bowing out of there, they don't want to schedule Notre Dame every year, and they cry about how tough the Big Ten is. I'm going to lose it. I'm just going to snap and I'm going to lose control. Okay. We got to get in a plane from LA and then we got to fly to the Midwest. And then sometimes we got to fly to New York and it's cold. You should have done that before you joined that stupid conference then, if you didn't like it. Get on the plane and I gotta go somewhere where it's cold and I don't like it where it's cold because in LA it's warm and I don't want to be cold. Shut up! Shut up! Son of a buck on a Wednesday morning in May. Piss me off. Let's go to the calls. I'm losing control of the show already. Dr. John, 815-574, you guys are coming up. What's going on?
Why do you come to me right after you practically blow your top of your head off?
Hey, that's not a very good joke to bring up around a John Kennedy. Take it easy, Pops. Take it easy. What are you trying to do?
I'm not in my office yet, so I can't give you any kind of prescription, okay?
Hey, take it easy. Luckily, there's no grassy knoll in this basement. All right, buddy?
Oh, man. Well, here I was all ready to ask a question about recruiting, and now we got this crap going on. And except for the COVID year, since I started following Notre Dame football, there hasn't been one year USC hasn't been in it.
Yeah,
It started in 47. I mean, it was continuous from 47 until COVID. Yeah, I know we played them before that, but
yeah, and listen, man.
I don't know, John.
It's a fun rivalry. I like it. It's modern. It gives you that helmet to circle. I have nothing against the deal with Clemson. I'm just going to be sad to see the USC rivalry go if it goes. I think that's a perfectly fair position to have.
Yeah, here's what I think. It depends who's calling the shots at USC. If it's Riley, it's probably gone. If it's higher powers that be who realize how much that's worth to both franchises, we'll still be on it.
Now,
that's my take.
Doc, here's what happened.
Would like to get a win in there somewhere.
Here's where this all started with me. When they first moved to the Big Ten, you started to think, okay, so they're not going to have as many free weeks to schedule whoever, and Notre Dame's one of them. But what got me, Doc, is their new president, that lady, I forget what her name is. She got asked about that. She was dancing around this question, and we love the rivalry, but we need to be able to adjust with the conditions and our modern reality. That I don't think that was a year ago. Maybe in the season, she gave this interview and it came up and it sounded like she was building a ramp to be able to get out of this. And she dropped a little line in the water there with her answers being vague and dancing around it. She didn't say, oh, Notre Dame's our number one rival. We're keeping that and we'll bend over backwards to play Notre Dame. She didn't say that. We got to be flexible and we like it, but we might have to cancel it. And we're in a new arrangement with the Big Ten. There's new obligations with the schedule. Ever since that lady put this in my head, I've been waiting for this. And then this just maybe tells me Babak was getting ahead of the train. I don't know.
Well, I still think the driving force to cancel this is Riley because he'd like a patsy. The travel stuff is bullcrap. So yeah, to me, if this happens, it's because he wants a win on that slot automatic.
Yeah. And Doc, let me ask you, man. You're a little bit older than me, and you've seen a little bit more Notre Dame.
Comedy show, eh?
I went out of my way to say that as straight faced as I could to see what your reaction would be. Right. No sarcasm. You're just a little bit older than me, and you've seen a little bit more, Notre Dame football. I want to ask you this. This is an open-ended question. If you on hold, stay on hold. You'll be on the air. I want to ask this. How big of a deal is the USC game to you? You've seen a few more decades of Notre Dame USC than I have, and I love the rivalry. How would you be distraught to see it go? How do you think about it?
I would. I mean, to me, unless there was an unusual twist to the season, like '88 with Miami and '93 with Florida State, FC has always been the biggest game on the schedule as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Right behind the Navy game.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. And I'm a you know the way I am with the history of Notre Dame. And that is a part of the tapestry that's woven into all the current stuff, is all the layers of history that happened before in Notre Dame land and Notre Dame football. Like, it would just be sad to see it go. So I understand the modern realities, and I'm going to give them a hard time. I'm not acting like I'm an unbiased actor here. I'm literally, everybody knows I'm biased. So I'm going to give them a hard time. I understand modern realities and some things need to change. This one would just hurt. It would just hurt.
Yeah, well, what is it? There's only this year and next year we're scheduled through. So if something doesn't happen, I see the 27 schedule still needs 4 teams added. But if something doesn't happen, I think by this time next year we're going to say bye-bye to SC, unfortunately.
Well, we will all have an always Irish funeral, and I'm going to give them a hard time. I understand the modern realities. I understand trying to schedule for fewer losses to be able to get in the play. I get it all, but I don't have to like it. Doc, that's where my show runs into trouble. I understand a lot of things, but I'm still going to yell about them. Like, I totally get it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to react well to it.
There's a little pamphlet. I know it's available in the 12-step program called Acceptance. Maybe you should get a hold of it.
Oh, acceptance. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's the next one? Wait, what's the next one? Don't worry about any. What's the next one? Oh, don't worry about. I like this one, Doc. Don't worry about anything you can't control. What are you talking about? Those are the exact things I worry about because I can't change them. What do you mean when people say don't worry about things beyond your control? Those are the exact things you should worry about because you can't change them. You're relying on every other idiot in society to do something. What do you mean?
Well, it's good if they're gone. It's going to be easier for me than you, John, because I'll probably be dead.
What you only got a couple years left? What the hell's going on?
Well, we're probably going to find out. I got my annual physical today.
Wait a second. Talking to me and doing this right before they do your numbers. Is it going to end well for you? What if all of my stuff transfers into your blood work or something?
It could be a problem, but what they do at this stage, and I'm going to be 85 in July. What they do at this stage is they cut off a limb and see how many rings you got left in there.
There you go. You're a stable old oak.
Yeah. Hey, I got one more thing, and then I've got to turn you loose. Like I said, I wanted to talk recruiting, and I'm happy to see Crowley in the chat because he probably knows the answer. A lot of you people probably do. You know, we just had this commitment, big deal. Why the hell don't they make them sign a letter of intent when they commit? I know the NCAA must have a certain rule, but if I knew what it was, it's gone off the memory cells. So
that's a good. That's a really good question. I just think, or why couldn't you do this? Why couldn't it be an option for you to sign when you verbally commit, and then everybody knows who's all in and who's all out? Like, even if it was an option, Doc, then you would know the difference between a hard commit and a soft commit. Like, even that, I don't know. It's a good question.
If there's any kind of an out, it doesn't mean crap. You know that.
Yeah.
It should be, if they sign a letter of intent, you got to stop talking to them.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Why don't they do that?
And another part of it is the industry. you're not going to get that big pop on signing day if everybody's already signed. So a part of it is the industry wanting all that smoke when it comes time to make it official. I don't know, man. It's a very fair question. I don't have a great answer to it other than they want to let the kids have an open, be able to change their mind. I don't know.
Are you trying to tell me this could be about money?
I would never suggest that in the times we live. No way. No way, buddy.
Okay. Well, I got to prep for what Lem I want thought off at my annual. So you have a great show. I just want to thank you for taking my calls when I don't have crap to say. But I enjoy you immensely. Enjoy the show.
Doc, I got to tell you, man.
What?
If we lose the USC rivalry, you're going to have to live forever to make up for it. You're going to have to live forever to fill the void. I need something in my life, man. I could always rely on USC and your Wednesday calls. You're going to have to live forever.
Well, here's the problem, John. Do I want to live without the USC game?
Hey, don't let them put you in the grave.
Okay, but goodbye.
Goodbye.
Great show today.
This one's off the rails. This one's off the rails. Love you too. Bye. All I'm saying is I would not talk to me on the phone about all this and then go get my numbers checked. By the way, somebody's smart. Callers, I'm coming right back to you. Right back. I found an app or something, and it's a heart rate widget for live streaming. Oh, if ever there was something made for Johnny Boy, it's like a widget. I don't know what a widget is in terms of digital, whatever. It's like, and it says, measure your heart rate live during the show or whatever. Now, me finding this is different than me knowing how to set it all up. I'm going to be in here looking like I'm on death row with a bunch of things taped all over me and wires. I'm going to be like Marv in Home Alone 2 when he gets electrocuted, it turns into that skeleton. I'm telling you. Just imagine, I'm going to be sitting here with all these wires poked into my brain. Things are going to be beeping. So I got to try and figure this out because how entertaining would it be if we could find a way to get a stress meter here on the screen, and every time I'm yelling, that thing goes, ooh, it's going in the red. I got to figure out how to do it. I ain't smart enough. I'm not smart enough. Let's get a couple of these chats. Andrew, I totally disagree. They joined the conference with the understanding they would potentially lose the Notre Dame rivalry. The money instability made the move a no-brainer. I don't disagree with any of this, but I'm still going to yell about it. Like I think all of that's probably true. I'm still going to yell. I'm still not going to like it. That doesn't change the way my reaction's going to be. Whatever, man. This is true, but I still don't have to like it. And I don't. Couple super chats back to the calls. $2 olive from the chief. Is this the Big Ten moving in for the kill? I don't know. Are they hoping that but if this is the Big Ten moving in for the kill and Notre Dame was reacting to that, wouldn't the announcement be Notre Dame's thinking about joining the Big Ten, not extending a schedule with an ACC team? Do you get what I'm asking? Like, if that's them moving in for the kill and trying to funnel Notre Dame into the Big Ten like USC, and Notre Dame's response is doing this with Clemson, that kind of rebuts the concept that it's working for Notre Dame to be funneled into the Big Ten through this. Rick James, give it to me, baby. Only 120. I love this show. It's so silly. It's so silly. Too many people doing this take themselves way too serious. I am going to sit here and I am going to monotone talk to you about football and you are going to listen, and I am right and you are wrong and you are dumb. And if you disagree with me, you are blocked. I see that for every team in the college football niche. Half their content is like that. Boring. Boring. $50 holler from Rick James. I'm Rick James. Hold my drink. I give them two thumbs down. The milk's gone bad. Only 126 days left that I could be an Irish fan. Until then, go Irish. Then gig 'em Aggies. Really looking forward to the season. Love the show. Rick, you're a real one. I've never met a Rick that wasn't cool. I'm telling you, I've never met a guy named Rick that isn't cool. There's certain names. There's certain names, you guys, in society that just always remain true. I've never met a Rick that wasn't cool. Slick Rick applies to all of them. I've never met a Rick in real life that isn't cool. It's like the name Lexi or Alexis, anything like that. I've never seen an ugly girl named Lexi. Think about it. Think about it in your head. I've never seen a girl named Lexi that isn't good looking. But how can the parents know when a kid's 0? But it always works out. It's like they just know. I've never met a girl where it's like, oh, your name's Lexi and you're 327 pounds. It never in my life, ever. Every girl named Lexi's good looking. It's just a rule. Same thing with Ricks. Never met a Rick I didn't like. Got to be careful on the pronunciation there. $5 holler from Doctor in case I get bad news. Rick, you're a real one, man. I love the donations for a guy that doesn't even like Notre Dame. What is the 5-finger sign of the face? Anytime we start talking about this, I lose it because it's all so funny to me. The boots, man, in that scene where he goes in the living room, nice place. Why don't I stretch out the cowboy boots? Just the whole thing, man. I just can't hold my drink. I can't. Sly says, stop talking about my wife. It's a compliment, and she's good looking. I met her. It's a compliment. I've never met a Lexi that wasn't good looking. I challenge you. Send me a picture of a Lexi that isn't good looking. It's like they just know the kid's going to be a good looking person. It's amazing. 815, what's going on? 832, you're coming up. What's up, 815?
Morning, John. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I got a theory, I guess you could say, about the Clemson thing.
Ooh, that's juicy. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Let's take USC out of it completely. They're not even a factor.
Okay.
And the ACC was on the brink. They still technically are. So last year they added the 4 teams. They added, Cal, Stanford, SMU, whoever the other one was. I don't even know. Don't remember. Don't care. They had Clemson and Florida State suing them, trying to get out of the conference. So maybe this is, and also, Notre Dame is, helps them out with the 5-game schedule, being a part member or whatnot. Let's say, who's to say this isn't Notre Dame throwing ACC a bone, saying, hey, we'll schedule Clemson to help, get their revenue up so they have like a bigger game every year. So they maybe back off on the suing business, and then Florida State and let's say Miami are saying, oh, Clemson got this nice deal. Where's our nice deal? So then maybe the ACC tries to strike a deal again with Notre Dame and either Florida State or Miami, and then they kind of cool off on trying to leave the conference. So maybe this is a long play by Notre Dame to not have the ACC, get demolished. Because if the ACC gets demolished, what are they going to do? Then they would either probably have to join the Big Ten, or at that point it would be really difficult to stay independent.
There is a part of this of, let's 832 stay on hold. I'll get to you. There is a part of this that is very altruistic as far as Notre Dame and the ACC throwing them a bone, guaranteeing this every year for the conference. And then also that TV money now The ACC redid their deal, and if you bring in more TV money, you get to keep more of the revenue. So, like, some of this is Notre Dame helping out the ACC, but let's be honest. This is a good, strong game for Notre Dame to have every year on the calendar. It really is. That's not the part of this that I'm reacting to. It's like, oh my God, what a waste. You have Clemson on the schedule every year. No, I love that part of it, but it's just going to hurt if you lose USC over it. So we're trying to help them out.
I think they're just trying to give the ACC a little more stability. I think that's what this is.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think they're doing that because, I think they're doing it because A, they were on the brink, and B, Clemson right now is the best brand in the ACC.
Okay, so
they're like, hey, let's
couldn't it
get the
be
high level matchup every year?
That everything you said could be true, and also a part of this is preparing for USC to pull the rug out and blame the Big Ten or whatever, right? Like, all of that could be true, right? Like, everything you said could be true. And this may be Babakwa trying to get ahead of USC making a move. I think it all could be true. But yeah, there's some altruistic Notre Dame trying to provide stability for the ACC. Do you remember, like, a year ago or in the course of last season, there was an announcement that Notre Dame and the ACC were going to make a deal where Notre Dame was guaranteed to play two of Miami, Clemson, and Florida State every year? I saw an article about that. So, like, there is some juice to the idea that Notre Dame's trying to crank up the ACC. Yeah.
Also, we don't know this, so this is speculation. This arrangement or deal, this could have been in the works for over a year. When as soon as USC decided to leave the Big Ten, they could have been talking about this for a year. We don't know that.
Yeah,
they could have been.
Yeah, that could be true
already for the.
And I did
announced now.
I did see the bottom of one of these articles about this. They had some quotes from some anonymous ACC coaches or whatever. Man, it made Notre Dame look good because they were like, everybody's just debating over who gets to play Notre Dame because it moves the TV needle. You get more money. It's a big game no matter what. Like, so it's a big compliment to Notre Dame here because the Big Ten would love to have them. Everybody in the ACC should want Notre Dame on the schedule because it's the biggest the needle's going to move for them other than their main in-state rivalry or whatever. So there's a lot of wins to be had here for a lot of parties involved. I'm just going to be upset if USC goes away. That's all.
Yeah, I get it. But I think back against the wall, I think this is a good move.
Yeah,
I think they made a good decision doing it. And picking Clemson, who's a perennial playoff team, top 15 type team, and they're the best in the conference right now. And there's no argument.
Here's the other thing: if you end up with this as a staple every year, fine. And if you keep USC, that's fine too. Great. Like, Notre Dame's not afraid to play Clemson and USC in the same year. Like, bring it on or whatever. Like. So if USC doesn't bail or you get a handful more years until they bail or whatever, like, that's cool too. That's cool too.
Yeah, I want to talk one more thing about Miami, but I don't think Clemson's really on the precipice of, like, falling apart like Florida State did, or we'll see what happens with Miami this year, which is kind of my point. Remember last offseason, the entire talking point before A&M was like, how put together can the team be with the new coaching staff coming in? They got some player. I was looking up their portal class from 24. They had some players on defense who came in and played, like Scorton, the two corners, Scooby Williams. Like, they had some starters, but their offense was relatively the same outside of Colin Klein coming in. Looking at Miami, their like entire offense is like new. Like, I looked it up. So in the winter portal, we know they got the quarterback and they got a receiver, and they got two tight ends, one of which is Kevin Bauman's brother, by the way. I thought that was a little interesting. And then this spring, they brought in two more receivers and a running back. And also with Carson Beck not practicing. So how put together can this offense be? With A, they're bringing in a bunch of transfers, and B, they're bringing in a bunch of transfers in the spring portal. So their quarterback's not practicing. So they must have went through spring practice, and they're like, we need more help. So I'm feeling more confident as I'm looking at, like, why they're bringing in these people. I'm feeling a lot more confident. Our defense, I know we got a new coordinator, but the pieces are relatively the same.
Yeah, it's I'm with you. We asked those questions about Elko, and I'm convinced they're going to be a more well-rounded, put-together, organized operation this year. But you're right, man. Like, jump on them early, and then whatever. And then you know what almost happens? If Miami has all these pieces to put together and the new quarterback that's not even fully healthy and all this, and they're doing all that and have all these people coming from all over India or whatever, and you could beat them, and then they get put together throughout the year and end up being a really, really good team, it makes Notre Dame look better. You get them early and then move on, and then I hope they do kind of good to prop up your schedule a little bit. I don't care what happens after that, but I'm with you, especially on that bunch of wide receivers in the portal, secondary help coming out of the portal. The new quarterback thing, they're going to have questions too. Notre Dame has questions. They're going to have questions too.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite from the A&M, because A&M brought in a bunch of defensive guys, and we know, early on, usually the defenses, or the offense, I guess, should say, take longer to come along throughout the season. So, like, when we played A&M, they got all their defensive guys, but their offense was still kind of even though they had all their pieces together coming in, into the season. This is kind of the opposite, where they relatively have, they did bring in a bunch of secondary players. That was kind of the other concern that I thought, like, why are they brought in 3 corners and a safety in the winter portal, and then they brought in 2 more safeties in the spring portal. So they're basically redoing their entire secondary. So I don't know. I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It seems like they need a lot of help, especially in the spring portal.
Yeah, and that is a big ask to have all those moving pieces, up to par, all like rolling in the same direction week one. Notre Dame's got questions. They got questions. You got to find a way to win it and move on and whatever, and they can develop or whatever. I would like to think our defense should be the most consistent unit entering that game on both sides. Do you agree with that? When you're looking at Miami, Notre Dame, I think our defense should be the most reliable unit out on the field on both sides. Do we agree on that or no?
Yeah, I think the defense is going to play like, I don't think they're going to give up a bunch of points. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't. All the pieces, all the new pieces coming in from Miami, offenses take longer to, get going. I just don't see them putting up a bunch of points.
Yeah.
I think it might be kind of similar to last year's A&M, where it was like we scored in 23-13. I say maybe we score a little more, so it's like 28-10.
Yeah.
I think we can beat this by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, baby. I love it. I know Goolsby's pounding that. He's pounding that number, man. He's all in on Notre Dame on this, and he's putting big money on it. He is confident in Notre Dame, doesn't like what Miami has already, and it's very interesting to me, that confidence.
I agree with him. And then that was kind of it. My other thing, I guess, on the way out, regarding your weight gain workout journey, look into Mass Gainer.
I bought some.
I gained 30 pounds when I was working out, and I was trying to put on some weight. It's a life changer. It's like half a serving is like 600 calories. It's a lifesaver.
Okay, you literally 832. Come. You got called in at work. Call back, and I'll bring you up. 832-574. You're going to be next. You mentioned that to me the other day on the chat on the Monday show, and I literally went and bought some. Dude, it is way different than the regular whey protein. It's a little hard to choke that thing down. It is like thick chalk, man. It is hard. You think one serving should be one of them scoops? It's like 6 of those scoops, man. It's like drinking out of a concrete mixer at the end of the tunnel.
It's a lot. That's why an entire serving is like 1,200, but
can you split it in half? Can you do 3 and 3?
Half, so I use 600 a serving.
Okay.
It was 600 calories, so half a serving, but it still did the job because you're still putting in 600 extra calories a day.
Yeah.
So it just took a little, but that that stuff works. If you can stick it out, I would do your best to stick it out.
Yeah,
that stuff worked well.
I literally went out and ran errands and bought some after you mentioned it. And dude, it was a rough go down the first time. I don't think I mixed enough water in. I underestimated the mix. And dude, it was like soupy concrete, bro.
It was like concrete.
Yeah, it really was. It was. Chief Brody says steak and rice. I've been doing steak and scrambled eggs in the morning and then like steak and rice in the evening. I'll buy like some cheap sirloin and cut it up and season it, cook it all, and then spread it out over the week. So I'm gonna try and beef up here, man. The working out isn't the problem. It's that I don't eat enough calories. I just don't.
Yeah, that's why I like those, because it's basically like drinking a milkshake.
Yeah.
It's hard to eat, but it's not hard to drink.
Yeah. So I appreciate the idea. I'm going to go to the next tailgate weighing in at a robust 324 pounds, baby.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Imagine me on roid rage. Yeah. Like you see me how I am off coffee. Imagine me with legitimate roid rage. What would be happening? Johnny Roid Rage.
A blue pill prescription from Dr. John, if that's the case.
He could send me some. He could send me some. But yeah, we're gonna go with the Roid Rage just because it's good for the show. So that's all we're gonna do.
All right, that's all I got. Take care.
Thanks a lot, man. On my bulking journey. Thank you. Oh man, you guys are funny. 574, I'm coming to you. Here's a great example of Commander Luke exaggerating a story, trying to get an effect out of the humble host. I see where it's called. I'm coming back to you. Rogaine whiskey shots, Dodger. I know we're taking shots at your ball club right now, but you really got to go at my hair? Give me a break. I did get faded up yesterday. I got lined up yesterday. You know, look at that on the sides. I see where it's rumored Ash is possibly the worst hire in all of college football for the past 20 years. This is an example of where Commander takes an article and then says to himself, how can I frame this in a way to make John as mad as possible? Okay, here's what it was. A CBS writer, you want to know you're in the off season? You're definitely in the off season when these articles come. Anybody's desperate for any sort of traffic or clicks. CBS did an article of the worst 15 head coaching hires in the last 10 years in the sport. And they had, I'd never do that to you, Johnny. You're doing it right now. He was number 15. So he was at the very bottom of the list. And then it went over all of his Rutgers failures. He was on the list, but he was number 15. He was in the last place on the list, but he wasn't number one as the worst hire for the past 20 years. Yeah, Commander wrote the article. He's a ghostwriter. That's what he is. He's a ghostwriter. Somebody mentioned to me about having spinners on my ride. Angela and Pat could both answer to this. I had 20-inch blades in college. I ain't kidding you. I had a 4-door Isuzu Rodeo, and it looked real kind of sporty, like you could climb a mountain or do whatever in it. It was cool looking, 4-door. And I was in that phase where I was like into that, and I put 20s on that thing. Oh, I had the subwoofers going, the back panel. It would vibrate so much the screws would come out of the back panel and it would just fall down. That's how much we were banging around town. And it was, when I look back, man, I looked like an idiot. I'm just being honest. Man, I look like an idiot. Me with my big red curly fro, and I'm driving around town bumping Snoop Dogg, and I got my subs in the back rattling through town. Everybody could hear where I was going. I'm going to tell you this, though. Call me back, Hans. I'm going to tell you this, though. That thing was fun, but it was a pain in the ass. It was a pain to maintain all those. It was a pain. You got to take them off in the winter because the salt will ruin the rims. You got to take them off and put dummy ones on in the winter. But man, I like the way they look. I like the way they look. But yeah, I was definitely smoking on Swishers back then. But it was more like Black and Milds. I'm more of a black, as far as the cheap cigars guy go, I was always a Black and Mild guy. I love the way they smell. There's like a vanilla smell to some of that. I like that pipe tobacco. So when I used to do that, it was usually Black and Mild. My main man Martinez, a couple people that were waiting they said they got work. They got work obligations. What the hell do we think this is? What do we think this is? How dare you during a work day have to drop your call to me? My main man Martinez. What up, baby?
Hey, Johnny, what's up, man? I love the whole rolling with the afro and the swishers. I love that.
I'm telling you, I had it going, man. I had the 20-inch rims. I had the amp with I had the big box with 2 12s in the back. I was rattling down the road, baby.
Johnny, who did it in my past? Is like I tell everybody, Death Row wrote the soundtrack to my childhood, man.
Oh.
Death Row Records in that West Coast.
Oh. Martinez.
Oh,
and I would be hitting, and I would like the deep tracks. I'm talking like some of them Snoop and Dre songs, Midnight Love by Snoop. That used to be my shit.
Yeah, brother, I got you, man. I got you. Hey, I just want to call real quick, man. And I see that thumbnail, but, I think Clemson and Notre Dame have built a very good rivalry every time they've met, other than maybe these last few times with Dabo having a few down years. But we knew going into Death Valley, right, that a few years ago, that the Irish better come prepared, because Dabo, like I said, he's the ECC, the SEC, taker. He's the one coach that's given the SEC a run for their money the last few years. I've said that over and over. But I think that's a great way to renew that, man. I got to tell you, got a lot of love for Dabo. Got a lot of respect for that dude, and the fact that he hasn't folded the NIL, and he was able to he won the ACC, right? That's why he won the ACC this year, correct?
I think they did, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought so, because they got in the playoff. And they didn't get smoked in the playoff, but they lost in the playoff. You gotta give a lot of respect. Now, if Dabo leaves, he's got to leave himself, of course, a Dabo disciple to continue the thing. They say that dude's genuine. Now, his rants, people may disagree, but I am very happy with that renewal. As far as the USC one, man, that's kind of sad to hear if they're going to end it. But it's like I've told you, Johnny, we've been the best team in the country the last few years. It's like I've said over and over, when you travel to California and then back to Syracuse, then back to South Bend, then down to wherever else our schedule takes us, those boys are tired, man. They're tired from class, they're tired from work, they're tired from family. So by the time the season would get over, and we all know that Swamp being Brian Kelly couldn't win a big game to save his life, right?
Yeah.
But Johnny, real quick, and then I'll let you get in, and I'll get out. I've always told a friend, and he's a Buckeye fan. He's a good friend of mine, real great friend of mine. There's 5 teams in college football, regardless if you hate them or love them, that have to do good for college football. Number 1 is always the Irish, of course. You know what I mean? That's the truth, because, forward pass. Football was born at Notre Dame, whether people want to admit it or not. One is USC. One happens to be our hated rival, Michigan. One happens to be Alabama. And one, for me, happens to be Florida State or Miami. If those 5 teams aren't doing good, college football is not doing good. That's how I've always felt. And I don't know, Johnny, correct me if I'd love to get your intake on that.
Yeah, I think especially with some of these historical brand names, the better they all are, the better the sport is. And then if you have all of those names that are good and then some other teams rising, that's probably the best scenario, because you have the old guard, those helmets that withstand time, whether they're good or bad, year in, year out. And then you add in some other challengers. That's a good blend. But college football is always better when Notre Dame's better, when Miami's better, when USC's better. It just is.
No, it really is. And it's not because it's in our schedule, Johnny, but it just happens to be that those are storied programs. I mean, right? The Catholics versus convicts, and even those players that went on to play in the NFL ended up becoming legends. Michael Irvin, Michael Irvin, Warren Sapp, and the list is on. Ray Lewis, the list is on and on for them, right? And but as far as this new rivalry thing, I think it's great. I think Dabo and Marcus have put together a amazing rivalry, and they.
Renee, what are you? Are you running a half marathon at work?
No, brother. I'm moving I'm moving a rebar still, 6 bar,
bro,
from one pile to another because I gotta clean things up.
I gotta tell you, man. It means the world to me that you are literally doing manual labor and still make time to call and sit on hold, dude. Do you know how much that means to me? That kind of loyalty. I mean that, dude.
Brother, man. Thank you, man. Like I said, I love you. I love the chat, man. Like this year. Renee ain't missing no in-season tailgate for anything, man. I'll sell the shit all over shit. I'll hitchhike to South Bend, but Renee ain't missing nothing. No in-season tailgate this year. But no, Johnny, I'll leave it with this. It is Notre Dame, and there's always drama with Notre Dame because it's just the way it goes, right? Going back to the Michigan bigot, president of the university not wanting to left in the conference, and we thank him because if not, Notre Dame wouldn't travel cross country playing. Like I've said to people, hey man, you're a tough guy. Forget your weight class, man. Come into myself. Take on anybody, anytime. I'll fight anybody in any dark alley anywhere, right? If you're a real tough guy, that's what I've always said. Notre Dame's always proven that. But here's the thing. Week in, week out, year in, year out, season in, season out, there's always something, right? It's always something with Notre Dame. But, I mean, these last few seasons, especially this one, as long as the head of the snake doesn't get chopped off, which happens to be Marcus Freeman, we're in such good shape, man. We're in such good shape because – from the fact that he's bringing them, even people leaving and coming, like I love Jaden Thomas, especially against, that big catch he made against BYU right here, and I got to see it live, man. But he left, right? But it's like I hate to see the Notre Dame faithful leave. But Angeli, I said, man, he's gonna play with the chip on his shoulder, and he's gonna really lead that Syracuse team, man. May God bless that kid. But year in, year out, we worry. But honestly, Johnny, I just love hearing you guys. I love hearing the opinions, but I'm not worried, man. I think Max Bola, Marcus Freeman has the right coaches and the right players. And if we lose one like Dylan McCullough or Al Golden, he brings in guys that, he knows are going to fit what he's trying to do for our program. You know what I mean? So, Johnny, with that, man, I'm happy with everything, man. I love hearing all you guys. I love seeing the opinions, and it makes me think as well. But, Johnny, that's my take on things, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for dropping in. And it does mean the world to me that you think of me even when you're out there working your ass off, man. Stay on the grind, and hopefully I see you this fall.
You will, Johnny. Hey, one last Purdue, right? Are we doing Purdue? Or still
yeah, we're gonna do Purdue. That's gonna have to be it. That's what works for most people. So we're gonna do Purdue.
Okay. Gonna buy my game tickets, and then flight tickets gonna be booked in about a week or so, 2 or a month or something. And I'm there. Onward, Notre Dame, buddy. Have a good one, Johnny.
Have a good one, man. Take it easy. I'm telling you what, man. That's a working man. That's a real working man. Not yelling in his basement. Real work. Building the infrastructure of America. Boone's Farm. Here's the deal. 574 coming up, 757 as well. Here's the deal with the Boone's Farm. On its own, Boone's Farm, spit it out, dummy. Boone's Farm alone is it's like a juice box, kind of that sugary flavored wine, different flavors, blue and purple or whatever, right? We used to mix Everclear into the Boone's Farm. You could run a weed eater off Everclear. It literally says on the bottle, not made for human consumption. So what you do is you drink a little bit out of that Boone's bottle, and it gives you a couple inches room, and you dump some of that Everclear in there. Ooh, baby, you flying high for the night. Pat's been around for some Boone Farm nights. Woof, man. So yeah, that's what we did. You used to be able to just buy it off the shelf at a liquor store, and it would literally say, not made for human consumption, but we used to dump that thing in that Boone's Farm, baby. You're damn sure I was getting crunk, and that's when that was a thing to say. I told you guys. I literally, as a freshman, Little John was popular. Get Low was the biggest song popping. Every party we went to, there was Get Low was playing. Remember the music videos from Little John? I literally went to the gas station, purchased a little red gas can, printed off in color the sign Crunk Juice, made it look all colored, stuck it on both sides of the gas can, filled it up with a bunch of jungle juice, and I'd walk around these parties and everybody's like, who's this idiot drinking out of the gas can? It was me, and it was Crunk Juice, skeet, skeet. And all the girls, you know how it is. You're the guy walking in a party drinking out of a gas can. You're going to get attention. I knew what I was doing. Johnny ain't no dummy. You walk in the party drinking out of the yellow hose of a gas can, you are guaranteed chicks are going to be like, what is that? Oh, let me have a sip. Okay. And before you know it, I'm sitting there from the window to the walls, to the walls. That's how it went. And I'm not making it up. Angela was there for all of it. Ask Angela. She could verify. I ain't making all this up. How could you make that up? Who would be stupid enough to do that? Who else would be dumb enough to do that? $5 holler. In case I get bad news today. Dr. John, come on, buddy. I still think it's risky to internalize me talking and then go to the doctor. But what do I know? Look at this. Tex ND. I used to get swamp anus until I got the prescription underwear. I'm just picturing it's like I have this problem and they're like, usually they hand out medication or whatever. But for this guy, they hand him some undies that are made of like rubber or something so no liquid can get out. Like, I just can't picture what it would look like. Oh, man. Drinking out of a gas container and getting a DUI on a tractor. I didn't say I was driving. 574, what's going on? 757 after that. What's up, 574?
Hey, John. Sorry for the missed calls. I was got a lot of business calls calling me back from last few days of ignorance, so I just had to take those. So
Hey,
I appreciate you giving me time.
You know what I want to say to that, man, is I want to thank you guys. All of you guys that are actually working, that take the time to call in during a workday, means the world to me. So I'm as flexible as you can be.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Well, I do have a minor complaint about all these changes. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that we did sign Clemson to a 12-year deal. The only gripe I have is that this isn't like a rivalry where it's not a rivalry where you're happy that you beat them, if that makes any sense. When we beat USC, it's, yes, we humbled the people who talk shit all the time. When you beat somebody like Michigan, you beat somebody that won't stop talking out of their mouth and saying that they're the best team that ever existed on this planet, and you just humbled them. Clemson and Notre Dame, for the last 10 years, it's been nothing but a respectful game. It's not a crap talk whenever these two teams play and whoever comes out on top.
Okay, let me.
I think the series is 3. Let me say this: the series is 3-2, right?
Yeah, lately or whatever,
It's
full time.
It's 3-2 if I'm not mistaken, or at least in the last 10 years anyway. And the last time we played each other, all I remember is just that people were saying it was a good game. There wasn't like a lot of trash talking, at least from what I understand. And they're not even local, so there's not anybody you're going to find that's a Clemson fan anyway around here.
Yeah.
But when you play USC, there's USCs just like Notre Dame. There's USCs everywhere. My friend, I know a few people around South Bend that are USC fans. There's one over in South Bend that flies a USC flag right off of 23.
That should
And
be
I
a
smile every
crime.
time I drive by him because I bet you he's not having a good life right now.
Yeah, that should be illegal. So listen,
So,
man.
so what I'm saying is, this. I'm glad we're scheduling better competition, but I wish it was against a team that I feel happy that we just beat the brakes off of. Like Penn State, it's not even been 4 months, and Penn State fans are still talking trash because they're bitter about losing to us. 4 months, and they're still talking trash.
James Franklin, big game James, baby. Big game James.
Like, if you want to schedule opponents that we're happy to beat because their fans are toxic, I would have been happy if we scheduled Penn State for 12 years. I actually would have been happy if we scheduled Miami for 12 years. Even though Miami, in my opinion, is a worse USC. Because Miami, if you look at this year's schedule, you want to know a fun fact? They only play 4 away games this year. 4. All 8 games home.
Man.
And won one of them.
It's a good deal if you could get it. Yeah, that's good for them.
And ironically, we're in the beginning of the year, on their hottest time of the year. But if we want to schedule in November, can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm with you, though. Listen, man. The Clemson series is more like respect, and the USC series is more like natural hatred. And I get driven more by the hatred than the respect. There's nothing better than true and genuine football hatred for legitimate reasons, football reasons. And I don't have hatred for Clemson. I respect them. I think Dabo's a good coach. Like, I don't have any heat or juice on Clemson. And so it's just nothing's ever going to match the way you feel about USC or Michigan or Ohio State or Miami or Florida State, even as a Notre Dame fan. It's just never going to feel the same. You can't manufacture feelings that just aren't naturally there.
That's my point. This feels like they're trying to push this as a next newest rivalry when really it's just a respectful. It's 2 teams that have respect for each other.
Yep, totally different.
100%.
Yep, totally different. Yep. And by the way, a little less fulfilling for me. I'm telling you this in the most respectful way, man. There's nothing more healthy in college football than like football hatred that from both sides equally, and they both feel it and they have their reasons, and it's decades and decades and maybe a century old. Like, I feed off that energy in college football. USC provides it. Clemson doesn't. It's just the way it is.
I feel like the Big Ten is just making sure that nobody on their conference plays Notre Dame anymore. It feels weird that the only 2 teams that we can actually schedule in the Big Ten is Purdue and Michigan State.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. And a lot of people do feel like they're trying to tighten the vice around Notre Dame and in the Notre Dame ecosystem and the teams in it, and tighten it and then see where Notre Dame goes. So I don't know, but I'm with you on the Clemson thing. Competitive rivalry back and forth with each team being real up and like good games, well matched, most of them, except for that playoff nightmare. I agree with all of that, and it's cool, but it doesn't drive my emotion like USC.
No, because here's the point I'm going to drive home if that series ever ends. If this series ends, it's not because of Notre Dame, and it's not because of the alumni. Because I actually have a few people that I still keep close contact with that have said if they end this series, they're going to be really pissed, and they're not going to actually donate anymore.
Ooh, I like that.
Because one of them who lives in Phoenix right now, he told me the other day, if this rivalry ends, I will never buy another damn ticket from them, because that tells me you ran away from Notre Dame because we're not making the playoffs. Instead of trying to actually do the hard thing and be good and beat them.
Yeah, it is. Man, it'll be interesting. I don't know. It seems like that's where this is headed. Notre Dame comes off the schedules in a couple years, And I feel like that's yelling at you. That's going to be the end of it. Or maybe it's once every 3 or 4 or 5 years that we were on the schedule. I don't know. Or maybe you meet in the playoff, but it's not the same as that yearly USC battle.
That's what I'm saying. And look, I completely agree with what one of your previous caller said. If this is Lincoln Riley's decision, then fans are going to hate him for it, because you are ending a 100-year rivalry, all because you cannot beat them. Which tells me that which by the way, everybody trying to defend him leaving Oklahoma, saying no, he left because he wanted better athletes at Oklahoma. No, he left because he was a coward. Plain and simple. He was a coward.
And and
now he went to USC.
You do know all they're going to say is the Big Ten, they're going to deflect this. USC's not going to get up there and say, yeah, we're not playing this because it's too many hard games on the schedule. All they're going to do is lean on the Big Ten, put out a statement that says the Big Ten obligations don't allow us to do this. And they're going to put all that on the Big Ten. And that's how it's going to go. And it's going to be annoying.
My dad said it perfectly the other day. He said that when a football program makes an excuse of why they're quitting rivalries, it doesn't come off as we're trying to make our program better. It's like a politician trying to talk PS and make their viewers, convince their viewers what he's saying is the truth. But everybody can see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, man.
When your program is trying to basically hide the truth, like what if this all comes to be, and they come out saying the reason why we're ending this rivalry is because we're trying to create new rivalries in the Big Ten, everyone's going to call their bullshit. It is what it is. Everyone's going to call their bullshit. And USC fans, they're already not showing up to the stadium to watch them play football. You really think they're going to keep going to those games if you quit a 100-year rivalry?
Yeah, it is. It would be frustrating. And the spin will be all about the Big Ten obligations, and we just have to do this. And that's what they're going to say to get out of taking any heat. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. I love that rivalry, and the pure hatred is healthy, and it nourishes my football soul. The pure hatred there is between these two operations. It'll be sad, man. Anything on the way out? I like the energy today. You're worked up, and I like it.
So the last thing I want to bring up is if anybody has an argument to this Notre Dame-Clemson that it can be a heated rivalry, let me give you a point here. At least Clemson will come up and play us in November. Miami and USC would never think of doing that. That's why we hate them. We have to play on USC and Miami's terms. And Miami had to quit their game with us last year because they didn't want to play us. Plain and simple.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
At least Clemson will have the guts to come up in South Bend in November in cold weather and say, yeah, we'll play on your terms. We'll play them in September if we have to. That's a mutual respect for each other. That's not a hated rivalry. That's not one side getting a favorable matchup over the other. This is a respectful game, which is why I say it's a great game, but I don't think it's going to be a good rivalry.
Yeah, it's man, there's a lot to think about here, man. Hey, thanks for the call. I like that energy today. Keep the vitriol up all summer. Call me back.
All right, thanks, man.
Good call. I like that. That guy was worked up. 832-757 coming up. He was worked up, and I like it. John will miss the USC ban for sure. I got to tell you, it's just funny to me, man. Like, some of these people, you get a scholarship for college to go be in the band, right? That's a real thing. Like an athlete scholarship, you could get a freaking trombone, get a trombone scholarship. You do all that, you go to LA and you're there 4 years as a band major. They dress you up like a dork every single week and they teach you one dumb song. Get a new song. Pisses me off. Learn a new song. That's all you know. Open up the notes in your trombone. Son of a buck, get creative. If this was a radio station, everybody would turn it off. All they play is the same song. Lots of things, Ronnie. Lots of things. Haven't you learned that by now? Somebody else, what was it? Andrew said something. Hold on. Where is it? This is bad for TV, but I'm doing it. I'm going to find this comment, push back on Andrew. Where is it? I should have highlighted it. Look, check this out. Would you be willing to play more road games at USC to preserve the rivalry? Why is that my obligation? No! What do you know? I'm not doing no. I'm not putting myself at a disadvantage to keep this rivalry going. You want to kind of get out of, but then if we keep it going, I got to lay down for you? No! Like, why is that a good deal? Just so we get, I'm saying I love the rivalry and I want to keep it, on equal terms. Not me having to go play at surfboard land every year. Why should we have to take the hit? It's just, oh, John, you love it that much? I'm going to lay down and play a road game every year just to keep it going. I don't love it that much. I love it on an equal footing. But why in the world, because I want to maintain that rivalry, do I got to take the raw end of the deal to better accommodate your Big Ten schedule? No, we could do it on equal footing, or you could back out and I'll yell about it. Son of a buck. 832-757 coming up. What's up, 832?
What's up, John?
I don't know. I didn't think I was going to get worked up today, but I got a weird energy today.
Well, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I would be thrilled to stop playing USC. I hate them that much.
Well, now, this is juicy. Now, wait a sec. Oh, I like this. This is juicy. So I'm saying I hate them so much, that's why I want to get a piece of them every year. You're saying I hate them so much, I want them off the schedule.
I hate them so much, I never want to see them on the field again.
This is hilarious. I love this. Explain your thoughts. For me, the more hatred I have, the more I want to play them. And you're saying I hate them so much, I'm done with them. I love it. Talk me through the theory.
I think it's got to be childhood trauma. I was born in '96, so it took us a few years to get a win in my lifetime. And then, the 2000s were not great.
Yeah.
So I think that was some of my favorite Notre Dame teams, like just Brady Quinn and Jeff Samardzija, Tom Zivikowski.
Yeah.
And just watching those guys just get their ass kicked.
I'm telling you,
really made me sad. It was some of the saddest memories that I have as a kid. So it's like, I hate USC so much. I would love to not play them anymore.
Man, I gotta tell you,
personally,
the
I don't think the win over USC is worth a loss over you. I don't think that 5 wins is better than 1 loss. It's like that for me. But also, I mean, I think that our schedule this year, I mean, our two a group of 5 teams. I mean, we got Boise State and Navy, which were both top 25 teams last year. I think that looks pretty good. And then I don't know too many Big Ten teams or ACC teams that have 2 SEC teams on their schedule. The first 4 games, Texas A&M and Arkansas.
Yeah, it's man, I gotta tell you, the Bush push PTSD is real.
Yeah.
It is real. Yeah. It was traumatic. I've never been the same. I say it all the time. My soul left my body, and I've never been the same in that moment. That was really traumatic. I got to tell you though, that Ohio State 23 thing, it took almost 19 years for something to replace that level of devastation. That 10-man whole end of the Ohio State thing is kind of replaced Bush. So I said I'll never get over it because I couldn't imagine a scenario where we lose in more painful fashion in a game I wanted that badly. I think Ohio State's worse because you didn't even give yourself a chance to win because you didn't have all your players out there.
John, I'm going to agree with you because the Ohio State 10-man on the field is the only time I've been physically ill from a football game.
It's a different kind of pain because you didn't even give yourself a chance because you didn't have the right amount of guys, and that's embarrassing. And it's just all that kind of replaced that for me. Is your house on fire?
It was pretty bad. I remember opening my phone right away and seeing the meme of they've got Manti Te'o's girlfriend lined up at defensive end, and I laughed until I cried.
Yeah, it was, man, I'm telling you, the Bush trauma is real. Do you think that maybe if Notre Dame played them once every, say, 3 or 4 years, that may actually make it more intense when we do play them? You get what I'm saying? Where if you don't have them every year, that could be it's a bigger deal if it happened once every 3 or 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind all of our rivalries kind of being on a every other year basis. I'm a little tired of playing Purdue.
Oh yeah, well there's no I get that they're in state, but I just don't. Did you guys see? Speaking of Purdue, did you see that train locomotive they have crashed and people died last week? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? They have that real Boilermaker old school train that runs on actual tracks for promo or something, and it wiped out and people died. I'm not dreaming of this, so I feel bad for them with that. Their train crashed.
Yeah, that's terrible. I would maybe get away from the old school transportation.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's so I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, but I guess on a departing note, USC sucks, and their first 2 games are against Missouri State and Georgia Southern. So I guess they're done trying to schedule any good out of conference games and just going to bank on their Big Ten bid.
Yeah, it is. You can try and schedule the fewest amount of losses you can and make that playoff, and we'll see what happens. I like Pete Bavacqua's being very proactive, trying to get ahead of things and do whatever. And so good for him, I guess. We'll see how it goes.
All right, John, I'll talk to you later.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. I'm not dreaming that it was beeping. Is that the voices in my head? The voices in my head? Or did anybody else hear that? Beep, beep, beep. He's in Dr. John's last doctor's appointment. As long as it keeps beeping and it just doesn't go beep, I think you're going to be okay. USC what is that? Northern Illinois in 26. I whatever, man. Came into Notre Dame and beat you. So who am I to crap on that? John is turning into Alex Jones. Yeah, it's I do a lot of yelling. That's for sure. I do a lot. That was the life support machine. Bro, if you're on life support, I don't recommend calling the show. Because it just might end it. Oh boy. He's in Walmart and it's the girl in the scooter, dude. I'm telling you, these scooter people, man, it's a problem. You get these scooters are like now, if you go to the grocery store, whatever, the scooter's 5 feet freaking wide. It's like you're trying to go down an aisle to get a thing of cereal, and it's like a semi truck coming at you. No maneuverability. And here's the other thing, too. You need a scooter. Whatever. I'm not judging. You're old, whatever. But why is it a thing where, like, you're in the scooter and then that means you're totally oblivious to everybody else in the store? I can't understand it. I don't get it. Those people always act like they're the only ones. They have no concept of anybody around them or whatever. It's just, here comes an 18-wheeler down the aisle and everybody else got to get out of the way. You don't own the store because you can't walk. It's the other way around. Running into stuff, backing into everything. You don't own the road because you're in a scooter in a grocery store. You're the inconvenience, not everybody else. You're the one inconveniencing the whole store. It isn't my skinny ass trying to walk by to get something off a shelf. And they look at me like I'm the problem. What do you mean? Your machine's taking up the whole aisle. I'm the problem. Something going on today. I'm getting worked up, bro. 415, talk me off the ledge. It's a California caller. What's up?
Johnny boy, it is a fiery show today.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know what happened. I had a little headache before the show. I'm like, man, I'm not quite feeling 100%. I wonder how today's going to go. This discussion's re-energized me. I'm at 105%.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just glad you heard the beeping, too, because I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, oh, there it is. My hearing's starting to go. Starting to hear sounds.
Dude, but the thing was, I made a joke about it, and he didn't really respond to the joke. And that's what made me think I was making it up. I said, is your house on fire? And he didn't say nothing.
Yeah. I thought that.
Dude,
I was like, God, is he in a hospital? I was like,
yeah.
No,
Bro, I'm telling
easy,
you,
pal.
I love this stupid, silly show. I just love it, man. There's nothing else I'd rather do. I love this every day.
So good. Hey, and by the way, I got this visual of you as Gator now. You remember Gator from the other guys?
Yeah.
And when he was like, Gator don't play. And like you were doing your rolling with the 21s and the rims and all that stuff. I was like, oh my God. I was just thinking you with a grill, the whole nine.
I'm telling you, man. But it's like once I got older and I look back, I'm like, what an idiot. People were probably hated me so much. I had a red afro, curly. I'm bumping Snoop Dogg, doggy style. I'm bumping. I got my rims. Everybody probably hated me. What an idiot.
Nah. You know, I know what it was. It was straight respect because they're like, if you're going to go out and rock it like that, and you're owning it, you're just like, yep, this is me. What do you want to do? Drinking out of a gas can.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
I'm telling you, dude, that crunk juice at a party idea, I'm still genuinely impressed with the ingenuity there. You buy a $3 plastic gas tank, you mix a little elixir, you walk in there and all the girls going, I want some crunk juice. Let me drink off it. Okay, let's party.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, all right, so boss, on this whole USC thing and Clemson and the whole, I'm just curious, was there any talk of that anybody's been hearing about USC legitimately dropping off the schedule, or is this all hearsay?
The most evidence I have for it was when their president was speaking about this within the last year. I don't remember the month, but within the last year. And
yeah.
This came up and she was dancing around it saying, we would like to play them, but we're open to having to change things because of the new arrangement with the Big Ten. And like, we would love to do it, but we may have to adjust things and we're open to that. The way that lady was talking, put it in my brain that this thing's running out of time. Her dancing around it it was on my radar as like, dude, she's laying the groundwork of where this is headed.
And, you know,
I don't know this person, so I don't want to judge, but it sounds just based upon that kind of logic that she is having, that she doesn't understand traditions and college football and like what this sport is all about. And so if we're going to be sitting here talking about not renewing and not keeping the tradition of USC Notre Dame playing, I mean, then what are we doing? Is everything going to be just about money or just about whatever it is that's right for you? Or is it about the fans and about the history of the game as well? I mean, that was one of the big things when Oklahoma and Texas took off from the Big 12 and went into the SEC. They were like, oh, are we not going to have the Red River every single year? Is it going to be every other year? Are they going to be at different sides of the conference? Like there's all that kind of, and it's just like, man, all these big wigs at the top. It's like, think about what this game is built upon. You don't want to lose that tradition and that history. That would absolutely suck. And the way that you feel about Michigan and like how you have that, like just that real hatred for them and just the whole thing is the way I feel about USC. And maybe it has to do with proximity. I don't know, but like they're close enough to me. It's Southern California. I'm a Giants fan. They're a Dodgers fan. It's USC. It's Notre Dame. It's always been a Northern California versus Southern California in the sports world. So when USC comes into play, they're my number one. Always want to beat them. Always want to play them. Let's at least get on the field and settle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I need? Okay, I want to ask you this. You're the perfect person to call in on this specific issue. As a California resident Notre Dame fan, does this hit you differently being out there than like where I'm at here? Like, is it any different to you because of the proximity physically to the rivalry here? Are you going to get you need to change your license plate, USC quit, or wrap your car that says USC's cowards and driving around.
Oh,
I want people smashing it like you drive one of them Saber trucks or whatever. I want you to let it be known out there.
Yeah, no doubt. I do think it is because of all those different points that I was just saying. Was that I think because of the proximity and because of the 47 years that I've had on this earth of not digging anything that has to do with, the Southern California sports landscape, that's why it's hitting a lot harder. And it's like when you watch all the history, like the historical films and like just the different things of the games that have been played from all the way back in the day before I was ever born of USC and Notre Dame all the way to now, it's like, I would hate to lose that. I would hate to lose it as opposed to this. I'll give you another one that kind of plays into the Clemson thing. Now that Stanford and Cal have just oddly joined the ACC, which, the Atlantic Coast Conference, that's hilarious to me. But Stanford and Cal are in the ACC. That could take away the Stanford game every single year moving forward if they now insert Clemson. That's the one team that has been like kind of put onto the schedule and then hasn't been put on for the next couple of years. Like even last year, they were hesitant to put it on this year. And I think it has to do with scheduling and trying to figure out, well, is this an ACC agreement? Is it not? Is it, what are we looking at here? You know what I mean? So it's just interesting. It's like, now that Clemson is going to be on, as a full-time deal, does that take out any of the Stanford, games that we're going to be having for the ACC agreement?
Oh man!
But does that bother me? If you want to know why it bothers me, is because of the fact that it's Stanford and it's local, and I get to go to a Notre Dame game, and it's literally in my backyard.
Yeah,
and it'll cost me, chump change comparably than to fly to Miami or all over the place to go watch the game.
Yeah, you want to know what, man?
Every other year.
I'll tell you this. Younger people, if you're in your young 20s, I don't even know how much you remember this. It's creeping on years now. There was a while where that Stanford game was a tough-ass game every single year, and it was tough. Yeah. And, I think if you're younger, you may not remember when they had our number for a while, and then they literally started landing some really good tight end and offensive line commits that we were used to getting as the smart school, football school. A couple of them went there. I started to lose my patience. It's kind of sad how far they fell off, man. They've fallen off big time.
And now their coach just got fired because of sexual harassment, and it's a total disaster over there. And so, but that wouldn't, if they stopped playing that game, it wouldn't bother me as much by any stretch of the imagination than if they stopped playing against USC. It just because of the tradition. Like, yes, it would suck that I personally wouldn't be able to go to a game closer to here, but at the same time, whatever. This is about the whole totality of this entire program in this sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know what I think we should do here before they cancel on us? I think me and you should go to a game at USC together and record it for content. Just see how it goes for me being there.
John, I will tell you right now, 100% unequivocally, I will be there. You give me the date, I will make sure that I get off from work and I will be down there.
I'm just saying, I just think it would be awesome to just see how it goes. I'm gonna do one of them Steven Crowder bits or a Charlie Kirk or something where I just sit there at their campus and say, "You guys cowered out. You guys cowered out. Change my mind," and see how that goes for me.
Yeah,
I'm setting it up in the quad. I'm setting it up in the quad, and I need security with me to help. And it's just the big sign's going to say, "You cowered out. Change my mind." And I'm wearing all my Notre Dame gear. Let's do it. Imagine the ratings on that.
It would be through the roof. And I'll tell you right now that I was just going to say, you better get some tight security, brother, because it's going to come out like just with a thunderous. Oh, I couldn't even imagine all those USC fans. And all this BS that would be spewed.
But
it gets ugly with those Charlie Kirk things. You know?
This is LA. You got all these people that want to be actors. I'm gonna find the biggest guys, the meanest, biggest guys I can, hand them $100 each, and say, "Don't let me get my head smashed in."
100%, 100%, my man. Well, I truly hope that the USC game stays. I have no problem with signing up with Clemson. Mainly because of the fact that, kind of like one of your callers earlier, he was saying, like, yeah, let's line up. Like, don't be scared. If everybody's going to be the tough guy on the block, like, let's see who it is. And let's just go after it. So I'm totally down for that challenge. I love it. And it makes for great games, and it kind of can stew up a new rivalry. The other thing I was going to bring up with you, boss, was on, on Monday. I wasn't able to get on, but about the wide receivers and how you were talking about, like, how we need to get the wide receivers in. Now that we have, like, the running backs are committing, the offensive linemen are committing, defense, we're getting everybody. Now we're getting certain quarterbacks that are starting to come our way. The next and last piece that we all agree upon is that wide receiver, that perennial wide receiver. And, the thing about it is, if you look at our draft, the players that have been drafted out of Notre Dame, just in the last 20 years, and you go through it, how many wide receivers do you think we've actually had drafted?
Yeah,
it's only a handful.
It is. And it's like, no, there goes Ben Skoranek, the glory of Notre Dame's wide receiver room. There he goes. Yes. Like, there he goes.
And he was the last wide receiver to be drafted.
And it's not even like we developed him and recruited him. He transferred in.
Oh. Exactly. I mean, what year was that? That was like 16 or I don't even remember, but it was a while back. So let's see here. I got it actually right here. It was 2021. So in the last 5 years, we've had one wide receiver, and it was in the 7th round, pick 249.
Yeah,
that's
tough.
Not going to work.
That's tough. Okay,
so
now wait. Follow me here. I got this figured out. I got the answer. I got it figured out. Here's the deal.
Go for it.
Theoretically, whoever wins the starting job at quarterback for Notre Dame will be a more natural, comfortable thrower of the football than what we've had. That should make, theoretically, that should make the passing game look a little bit more good this year and appealing on the field. Maybe if these recruits see that the wide receivers at Notre Dame are being more involved and there's a quarterback that's comfortable throwing and looking for him, giving him chances, maybe you could get a benefit on the field with the offense and then off the field and recruiting off of that if you show progress in that direction and involve those wide receivers more. What do I know, though? I don't know nothing.
No, but that's exactly right. It's the whole chicken or the egg. Like, which one comes first? Like, the point is that we had to put somebody in place at the quarterback position that can throw the ball because we were not attracting these wide receivers. We're not attracting the recruits. When you think of Notre Dame football, what do you think of? You think of power football. You think of just strength on the offensive and defensive lines. You think of running game. That's what it was built upon. And now if we want to kind of change that narrative, we've got to change the philosophy of the passing game. Hence, I think that's why another reason why Angeli had to move on was because if you want to make it a little bit more exciting and a little bit more enticing to these young recruits, then you need to bring these, these younger kids that have that kind of flair and that kind of passing ability. And so now what will be interesting is like last year, I mean, I loved Riley Leonard. I thought he was incredible as far as a player, as far as a human being. I loved him for Notre Dame. I wish we had 2 years with him rather than the one. But now if you look at back, there was a lot of passes that were underthrown. He didn't have the strength to get it downfield. And now the reverse is going to be true where it's like, okay, wide receivers, you guys better be on your horse because these kids can throw. And you got to get down there and you got to be able to break away and get some separation and go up and snatch that ball because they're going to be putting those dimes out there for you. So I think it's going to start changing. It's going to start changing this year. And we just need to open it up. And if we open it up enough, and if we can have like Great House or some of these other guys get out there and make these plays and have like some 70 or 80 yard pass touchdowns that kind of flare it up a little bit, now the recruits are going to start seeing it. They're going to go, oh, okay, we see what you're doing down there. And cards in the weight. Or if it's the reverse, they know that the next guy coming in, Grubbs or whoever it is, like we're going to keep moving forward like this. So I love it.
Yeah, it's to me, the inability to have a truly dangerous passing attack is probably the one thing that stands out to me with Notre Dame of like not title winning level good enough. And so that's where a lot of my focus is. I believe a lot of this program is in a spot where they showed they are that competitive at that level. I believe that part needs to get better. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, totally. And I got one other thing for you was it's interesting to me, and I was just thinking about this. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Is a lot of the national media is not even talking about Kenny Minchie. They're talking only about CJ Carr, and they're saying that he's already the quarterback for Notre Dame, which he's not. Which I would be great. It would be great if he is, and I'm totally in. But it's just interesting to me that they all have him handpicked. They're not even talking that much at all about Kenny Minchie. My thought process was, what if Kenny Minchie actually wins the job? And now I believe that would actually create a lot more pressure on Marcus Freeman and his staff because of the fact that they would be like, if something were to go wrong, let's say we did lose week 1 or we did lose to Texas A&M or whatever it is, and there's the growing pains that we all know we're going to go through. Did Marcus Freeman make the right decision? Why would they do that? He had CJ Carr. Any other coach would have put in CJ Carr. And then it's all that just media BS that just gets kind of piled on. And I know it's a total what if, but I do think about how these coaches, like they're sitting there. I don't know if he's perceiving, I doubt it, that he's perceiving any of the media into influencing his decision. But it is interesting how they kind of create this narrative and then we have to live under that umbrella.
Hey, I mean, I know there's a difference between local media and national media. Don't forget, a few weeks into spring camp, everybody was on this show saying the reports are it's Angeli's job to lose. I'm not dreaming it. I'm not making it up.
Right?
A couple weeks into camp, that was the word coming from a lot of these out. Well, it looks like it's Angeli. Somebody's going to have to beat him. And now he isn't even going to Notre Dame. Things changed.
He's
That's it.
$2 million going to Syracuse.
It's a good deal if you could get it. Even if you got to live in Syracuse, it's a good deal if you could get it.
No doubt, my man.
Hey, I appreciate the call, but I need you.
Right.
I need you. If this goes down, you're local. You got to make a stand. You need to buy one of them airplanes with a banner behind it that says you wussed out and fly that thing all over that place. Do something.
Oh, I would have no problem with that. I have no problem putting the University of Spoiled Children to shame. It would be an absolute delight because there'd be no refuting it. Like what are we talking about? We want to play. We want to compete, and you guys don't. So what is your point? You know, like what was your reason? What was your why? And they would have nothing to say, man. And it would just be one of those ones where you can say whatever you want. You can pull out the bush push and this, that, and the other, whatever. Could care less. We've been kicking your ass on the field for the last however many years, and now you decide to pull out for what reason? You know?
Yeah, it's listen, man, things are changing in the sport. Some of them are for better, some of them are not, but like it's everything changes. That's the way it goes. Hey man, thanks a lot for the call. Love it as always. You're my California representative. I need to be able to trust you to take care of business out there.
100%, my man. You take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you again. Brother.
Have a good one. Take care. Oh man, my callers are nice. You guys are great. Brendan, hey John, 757, gotta run, love the energy. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. Dude, if you don't know these references, half the references on this show are Chappelle skits. Like, it never gets old to me. All the one-liners are still funny. This one is Clayton Bigsby, and if you know it, you know it, and if you don't, YouTube it. If you know it, you know it. And if you don't, type Clayton Bigsby into YouTube. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. Come on, Clayton. We want to see your face. Come on, brother. We want to see your face. Condoleezza Rice. Jay Carr, type Clayton Bigsby into YouTube and look for the whole segment and watch it. And then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. Think they're the best dancers. Anyways, all right. Before I get in trouble, I'm going to stop. We want to see your face. If you don't know what I'm talking about, type it in YouTube. Clayton Bigsby is all you have to type and you'll get the answers. And we will end the show on this. We kind of talked about this earlier. Did you see the stories on yours saying this guy's last name is annoying? Ewers. There's no comfortable way to say this last name. Ewers or Ewers feels like you're having a medical problem or whatever. What's your name? Ewers. It seems like ND made him an offer. I heard they were even more aggressive with Milrow. Spit it out. If true, does that change your perception how ready the young QBs are? I think this is tough because I'm not sure anyone knows the level of those negotiations or the intensity. You get these reports or whatever. But I just don't know how in deep this was, or it feels to me like maybe there was a couple guys they felt really good that if they could get them, they would prefer to do that rather than go young. And then if you didn't get those two, there's a line they didn't want to go below of like valuing an experienced guy versus starting young. So maybe they had one or two guys that if it all worked out and the money lined up, they'd be open to doing that, but nothing lower than that on the bar to end up with like perfect example. Being like, yeah, I'll take CJ Carr over a Sam Hartman coming in with limitations. Like, right? Like maybe that was it. And then there's just a level they weren't going to drop below if they were going to bring an outside guy in. But I don't think you could blame Notre Dame for kicking the tires on a couple guys. I didn't expect full 100%. We know none of these guys have any experience, but we're sure it's going to work because you can't really do that. So I don't really blame them for kicking the tires. And ultimately, if they were seriously uncomfortable, I think they would have figured something else with another name. So I don't know. All right, you guys. Really fun show. I have no idea why we got weird. We had some funny stuff. I don't know. It was just a very energetic show. And I really liked it. If you got that hate in your heart, laid it out. What is it you don't like about all these people? How much time you got, buddy? Dude, I say that in my everyday life all the time. When people are like, what are you mad at? Or what's your complaint? Or whatever. I just, with that accent, I just look at them and go, how much time you got, buddy? Type in Clayton Bigsby in YouTube if you want to laugh. That's some good comedy. All right, you guys, I'm out of here. I got things to do. Yeah, I got to go pick up my prescription underwear. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the donations. I love this show. I love this group. Have a good one. Jay Carr, I want to know what you think if you've never seen it. Look it up. Bye.